All right. First Bardo is the natural Bardo of this life. Chirni Pardo. Oh, that's in Tibetan. Chirni Pardo. Nature Pardo of this life. So now you have the text, the first verse of the root verse of the Six Bardos from Karma Langba says Chema. Chema means oh dear. Now when the Pardo of this life appears to me, abandon laziness, since there is no time to waste. No time to waste. Are you following me? Establish yourself in the meaning of hearing, contemplating, and meditating without distraction. Taking the path of appearance mind, actualize the three kayas. Now that for once I have attained a human body, this is not the time to remain in the ways of distraction. Okay, I will give you the written translation in Tibetan too. It's very important. Chimadala jeni Pardo and chardender tsila lome lelo bangshi tusam gomsa maya lamla ju nangsim lamno kosam onjirisha mili lanchi topi titsander yang malamla dopi titsa yang malamla dopi titsaman mili lanchik. Now, mili lanchik topi titsaman means now that for once I have attained human body, human life, one time. You never know, next life. Then, yang malamla dopi titsaman means this is not the time to remain in the ways of distraction. So what do? Develop three wisdoms. Okay, three wisdoms. Here it says, right? And this is your practice in this life, this Pardo, in this Pardo. This Pardo right now appears to us, right? Chirni Pardo, the natural Pardo of this life, from, in between birth and death, right? So this is Chirni Pardo in Tibet, this life. What should we do? Abandon laziness, one thing. Abandon laziness for what? Do worldly things? No, not really. Establish yourself in the meaning of hearing, contemplating, meditating without distraction. That's how you make your life meaningful, according to the Karma Langba's teaching. So this Pardo is again the time between we are born and the time when we die. Okay? So that's this life, natural Pardo of this life. So that means right now we are in the Pardo, right? We are in the Pardo, intermediate state. So that is called the intermediate state of this life. And it contains all of the appearance that we go through from birth, all of our life, and finally until we are faced with death. So that's the Pardo, that's the intermediate state. And how people experience and spend their time in the Pardo of this life depends on their different ways of experiencing their life. Some people are suffering, some people are very happy, some people are in between. So it's very important, Pardo. Usually, as I said, the life, from birth unto death, in an ordinary person is continuously under the power of ignorance, attachment, aversion, negative emotions, right? What does that mean? Before birth, we already had this bad habit of ego cleaning. That's the thing, bad habit, ego cleaning. Sometimes Buddhists call karma. All of our disturbing emotions come from the ego cleaning. And that becomes a chain reaction life, afterlife in the six realms of samsara. As ordinary people, our minds are preoccupied by the outwardly concerns. We talked about last time about the outwardly concerns. So we waste the Bardo of life, this life, in the outwardly concerns. That's all our life. That is how the Bardo of this life is experienced by an ordinary person. In this way, through the force of karma, we continue experiencing samsara this way until attain liberation. Therefore, the teachings on this Bardo, this life, are about how to make our lives meaningful. That's the essence. How to make our life meaningful. You have to check, you have to investigate your life, to look, to see. Do you have meaningful life or just life, happy life? Happy life not necessarily has meaningful life. So the Buddha taught in accordance with the nature of how things are. Therefore, it is important to be free from the three mystics. Three mystics are lack of understanding, misunderstanding, and doubt. These three are very important to understand. That's why three wisdom, very important. We always, people, not free from three mystics. Some people, lack of understanding, what is Buddhism? Or some people misunderstanding Buddhism because, Buddhism talking about suffering. Everything is suffering. Misunderstanding. Doubt, right? So when you investigate your life, you develop doubt. Very important. Doubt is actually very important. When you investigate, you don't understand something, then you investigate more, and then eventually free from doubt. You are very sure. Confidence. Your confidence, faith, come from doubt. Because you need to investigate. In order to investigate this life, you need to develop these three wisdoms. Hearing, learning, contemplating, meditating. Then eventually you have only wisdom, no mistakes, dualistic mind. So that is how to take care of life according to Buddhism. So it's very simple, but it's difficult to do, right? So you have to, like, very important to free from these three mystics. In order to free from these three mystics, we have to develop three wisdoms. That's all. But it's not easy. And the way to be free from three mystics is to study. Very important. To study Buddhism, to study your life, then contemplate. Contemplate is investigation, right? You investigate Buddha's teachings, whether this is true or not. That's what Buddha said. The first his teaching said, please investigate. Do not accept my teaching with your dualistic mind. You have to investigate. If it makes sense, please follow me. If not, try to find something else, right? So practice. Once you study, contemplate, then it's enough? No. Then you practice in the correct way. Meditation is very important. Meditation gives you personal experience. Not like you understand what is Bardo means, right? What Bardo means, intermediate state, but just here, intellectual. If you don't practice, what helps? Understand Bardo? Nothing. You have to get some capacity, and experience from each Bardo practice. So right now we're talking about the Chirni Pardo, means like the Pardo of nature, Pardo of this life. What is meditation? It appears to us now, right? This is Pardo. So what should we do? Study, contemplate, meditate, So that's the thing. We should think carefully and ask ourselves how many years have already gone by since we were born and wasted. Wasted. You cannot bring them back. Cannot. Wasted. We have to ask ourselves, and what we good things, like good things have we done for both ourselves, others. In those years, it's already gone. But if you did something good, that action, the karma, is continuing. If you do something good with your bodhicitta, great motivation, it's like you put a small drop of water in the ocean. Ocean is still alive. So your virtue is there. If you don't do that, we have to investigate these things. And more importantly, how many years are still to come? But the thing is, we don't know that. We don't know that. We don't know how many times, how many years, and how much time we have. We don't know. Very uncertain. And what good things should we do for both ourselves and others in the future? So that's Buddha said. Buddha said that whatever we do, we should be run. Means like we should be our own teacher. I say something, maybe you agree, maybe not. Maybe you get angry, but you are the best teacher for yourself. That's why Buddha understood that, like we should be our own teacher. Oh, how many years gone? What did I do good things for ourselves and others? How many years are still come? We don't know that. So this is very important investigation. This is a very important message actually from Buddha, And if we practice Dharma like that, the hearing, contemplating, meditating, then even if we have only studied 4 lines, Bhakti Rinpoche said that, remember? Even like if we studied correctly, hearing, contemplating, meditating, then even like we study 4 lines of teaching, or even if we have only like short time of our life, there will still be great benefit. In the root text, Pardo Tejo teaching, it tells us that when we find ourselves in the Pardo of this life, we should abandon laziness, because there is really no time to waste. And every day is very precious, right? So when we say like people are very lazy, people say I don't have time to practice. That's not true. We have time to practice, but lazy. People don't recognize how they're lazy, laziness. So that's why Karma Lingpa the first said, the abandon laziness. In order to abandon laziness, I mean, like you have to understand every day is precious. Life is precious, and the time is very precious. So then once you recognize those things, then kind of like automatically every day, like you think like, oh, I have to practice Dharma diligently. I don't know I have how many time I have, how many years, how many, so if you don't understand, if you don't like, I mean, of course you understand, but if you don't investigate, like every day is precious, life is precious, time is precious, this is opportunity, that we have right now. And if you recognize that, I'm sure you will do something good. You practice Dharma, diligently. So that's Karma Langpa's, try to, tell us, what should we do in this Bardo? Abandon laziness and practice diligently. That's it. Because, for the ordinary person in the part of this life, we are continuously under the control of our negative emotions, right? So this is how the Pardo of this life is experienced by an ordinary person, and will continue until we reached the liberation, by practicing, by, develop the 3 wisdoms. So it is important to practice, although we are unable to practice everything, we should still practice as much as we can. So it is, I think it is important to remember that even though our mind is connected to this body, it is only temporary. But we are fortunate to have this precious human body. So you know that. That's our first step, first practice, first stages of practice, precious human life. 4 thoughts. What is the first? Precious human life. If you follow the Bhakti Rinpoche's teachings, what am I perfect teacher right now? I don't have to tell you these things. You already know it. You already understand how important this life and how precious it is. Right? That's the first thing. Many, like millions of beings have no opportunity like we have. If you investigate, then we're very fortunate, very, very fortunate. But right now, whatever you investigate your past life, if you believe it, did good things, because now the result, you see it. This is great. But then, now, future, it depends on this life. That's why this Bardo is important. And this Bardo, the Bardo of this life is the most, you have to understand it, the most important Bardo. We have 6 Bardos or 4 Bardos, right? So we have painful Bardo, the natural Bardo, and then we have the luminous Bardo, and then we have the karmic Bardo. But this Pardo, the natural Pardo of this life, is the most important Pardo, because everything that happened after depends on the Pardo of this life. Therefore, the Pardo of this life, our present, situation, is crucial, very important. So, engage in Dharma practice today. That's the Kardampas masters always say that, right? Today, right now, right? This moment, not tomorrow or not next year, right? Most people say that, oh, I don't have time today practice, but maybe tomorrow. Okay? And then tomorrow comes for sure. And then your laziness, you develop your laziness. So then, oh, not today, not tomorrow. Not today, tomorrow. So in the practice, practice now in whatever situation is. And the most important achievement in this life is liberation. The thing is, like people say, oh, when I meditate, I can't meditate. My meditation is terrible, That's not problem. The problem is if you say, oh, I don't have time, or I don't have energy, or whatever, today no meditation, maybe tomorrow. That is the problem, obstacle. Good meditation, not good meditation, that's not the point. That's no problem. You just try to meditate, that's good. But not like tomorrow, not next month, not, that's obstacle. So if we cannot attain that this life, the liberation, we should try to reach maybe like halfway, and at the very least, we should have entered, that's teachers say, we should enter the path, because then there will be more chance for liberation at the time of dying. If you enter path in this life, how do you know that? It depends how much bodhicitta you have. That's right. That's how you measure. Are you in Buddhist path, or you are not in the path? Means, are you practice bodhicitta or not? That's how you think. If you don't practice bodhicitta, you're not in the path. Then there is no chance for liberation. And this Pardo and next Pardo, the after Pardo, no chance. If you are not on the path, there is no chance to for liberation. And during the Pardo of during the Pardo of Dharmata, the nature Pardo, the ultimate Pardo, the reality, the Dharmata, and Pardo of becoming. Usually they say we have additional opportunities for liberation, and the most important thing we can do in the Pardo of this life is to have genuine bodhicitta. Genuine bodhicitta, that's very important. Not just a bodhicitta, a genuine bodhicitta. Liberation is fine. I always say that. If you're not If you not attain liberation this life, this very lifetime, no problem. If you have no genuine bodhicitta, it is a problem. It is a problem. So we must be careful how we spend the time we have left in the Pardo of this life. People are usually like always, interested in what they should do in the Pardo of like after death, right? After death. People usually ask, what practice should be good when I arrive in the state after death, and people think about the Pardo of Dharma, the nature Pardo, the ultimate Pardo, sounds especially interesting. But without having any practice experience during this life, the chances for liberation in the Pardo of Dharmata, and especially in the Pardo of becoming, are almost impossible. Very slight. You have almost, I guarantee, almost impossible. The Pardo teachings say yes, you have. Okay, you're not liberated this Pardo. Then you have chance the next Pardo, and then you chance the teachings say that. But how you do? You don't have any experience practice in this Pardo. No way. I think no way. If that's why practice. If we don't practice now, it will be really difficult at that time because it's too late. Therefore, practicing right now is the key point for attain liberation at the moment of death. So therefore, all other Pardos depend on this Pardo. That's why I say this Pardo is the most important Pardo, the nature Pardo of this life. So people don't practice. Do you know why? Because don't see the quality, the capacity, the qualities of meditation. Because once you have this, when we think about amazing these masters, Tibetan teachers, it automatically in our mind, I want be like him or her, great meditator, because then you can see their capacity, right? But when we meditation, it takes long time to get there, because so strong our emotions. In order to get rid of these emotions, it takes long time. It's not like technology, it's not happens right away. That's why people today you meditate, just nothing, you can't see anything, you can't, tomorrow, then year after year, month after month, then eventually people they lose, their confidence, but never give up. So therefore, if we don't practice now, then it will be very difficult during the other pardos, So therefore, practicing right now is very important, especially we have this precious human life. That's the thing. You can hear, you can see, you can meditate, all of this. These are precious. That's why precious human life. So if you waste this precious human life, whether or not you believe future life, if you become an animal, you have no chance to practice. You have no chance. I'm not looking down like animals, but that's why human life has this precious, the opportunity. If I say a dog, for instance, if you say Om Mani Padme Hum once, you liberate right there. Dog can't say it. Can't say it. So that's why I think we have to really recognize this preciousness, precious human life. If we have if we use this precious human life, and if we have a good result in our practice now, we don't need to worry about going through the other Bardos. So therefore, this Bardo is very important to understand, okay? Understand that. Even if you don't want to practice or don't believe in other Bardos, but just have a normal life, it is also important to remember how to live correctly, happily in this Bardo. So all of that, like happy life, meaningful life, everything connected to your bodhicitta mind, your practice, your qualities, your wisdoms. But if you don't practice, you can't develop those things. So therefore, in general, like we have an outer life and we have inner life. I mean, like the inner life is about spiritual development, and to be successful in the inner life, we must practice the teachings. Karma Lingpa said, at the time when the Pardo of this life appears to you, abandon laziness, since there is no time to waste. So this is very important. You have to read this text, At the time when the Pardo of this life appears to you, to me, is right now. So then what do we do? Abandon laziness. So we are always being lazy, not willing to practice, not willing to change our negative emotions, but we need to deal with our really sort of bad habits and be willing to give up our negative bad habits. The laziness is the big obstacle that will prevent the development of our human qualities in the Pardo of this life. Right? That's why when you read the Way of the Bodhisattva, the diligent chapter, you will see how important to practice and not being lazy. Because that's according to Buddhism, big obstacle is laziness. And if you make yourself a bit stronger and more sort of courageous, then you're able to be diligent about the Dharma. So for me, it's like very important when I think about my life and think about the value of Dharma, the meditation, I want to practice. If you don't think about those things, then always being lazy, So in order to do that, you need to understand, really, I always say this, you need to understand the value of meditation and the Dharma. Dharma. So, like me, like my life, very happy with my life. I'm very happy. I have great life. And, there cannot be anything better than this. But if you ask me, like, are you satisfied with your practice? No hesitation. No, I'm not satisfied with my practice. If you ask me, like, are you happy with your life? Yes, I'm very happy with my life. No better than this. But I'm not satisfied with my practice. So we should not be satisfied with just doing a few practice. Sometimes, yesterday I practiced a lot. Today is good. I just take it easy. Right? Don't, not, satisfied with this kind of like just few practice. So we should, the Karma Langpa says we should practice diligently. We cannot be like Malaripa. That's really too much, It's just like day and night, right? Practice day and night. That's why I think he established his quality, like the calmness, shamatha, within 6 months. We cannot do that. We are like almost 10 years practice. Still our mind is not calm, right? But that's totally fine as long as we're doing it. So therefore, I think in order to practice, I think to have a strong commitment to the practice is so important. There's something we can do these things, like so first learn, the laziness is the big obstacle, not good. So then in order to be diligent to practice, what should we do? Make a commitment. And in order to maintain commitment, must have a very good understanding of the essence of practice that you're doing. And we must understand of the purpose of Bardo of this life. So these things make us, wake up from sleep, So now we understand these three wisdoms: learn, contemplate, and meditate. But the obstacle, what is the obstacle? Laziness. What should we do? Now we understand these three wisdom important, but it's just laziness. It's very habit, bad habit. But if you make a strong commitment and maintain your commitment and study, understand, your practice, understand the value of your meditation, you can practice every day. Karma Langpa, in this text you should see, this text says, the first, the Pardo teaching says, establish yourself in the meaning of hearing. Never forget this, okay? Hearing, contemplating, meditating without distraction. Without distraction is okay, I would say. Distraction, with distraction, you can hearing, contemplating, meditating slowly, no problem. The first, when we, the first stage, when you start, the first, these things, three wisdoms, without distraction is so hard. You almost can't do it, but that's totally fine. With distraction, totally fine. So these three things we already know, right? This is how Buddhist people practice Dharma. That's only, people ask me how Buddhist people practice Buddhism. I would say this: hearing, contemplating, and meditating. That's how we do. And when you listen to teachings, it is called learn, right? then the teaching turn into knowledge only when you think about them and start to understand what they mean. This is called contemplating. And then, you play the teachings and put them into your practice. It's called meditating. But in order to do that, we need really diligence. That's why Karma Lingpa says here, abandon laziness. So please don't sort of, waste this precious time, precious life. If we develop these three wisdoms, then not only will we have intellectual understanding or some sort of Buddhist, this information, but then we will have personal experience from our practice. That is the thing. That is the thing. So if you want to practice the Dharma, these three wisdoms are the essential point. Okay? So this time that we have this Bardo is the most important time. Right now, we are in between the time when we are born and the time when we die. So this is called Bardo, the intermediate state of this life. So that's very important. That's first Bardo. So we can talk more about these things, learn, hearing, contemplating, and not being lazy. But I think you understand pretty well. So I think I'm not going to teach you and explain this in detail. So the first Bardo of this life, what is practice? Three wisdoms. What is the obstacle? Laziness. Okay. And then what is the antidote for laziness? Diligence or commitment. Your commitment. Commitment. Okay. Now we have to go. That's the first Bardo. Now the second Bardo. Second Bardo is the illusory Bardo of dreaming. So the Karma Lingpa's root text said again, Chema. Now, when the Pardo of dreams appear to me, abandon the headless corpse, right? Like sleep of ignorance, and settle the mind in its natural state without distraction. Recognize in dreams, practice transformation and luminosity. I must not simply slumber like an animal, but combine sleep with realization. This is crucial. Chimadala, Mulim Pardon Chardindar, Mugrornir, Pagme Pamshini, Tambayamin, Ilungalanjok, Mulim Zoni, Turjir Wazar Jam, Trujan, the nearer Marshichi, Itangon Simdip Yamlinji. So the Pardo of dream state covers the period from the moment we fall asleep until the moment we wake up the following morning, right? So that's another Pardo. So during sleep, what will happen? According to Buddhist philosophy, during the sleep, the five perceptions of form, sound, smell, taste, and touch dissolve into the alaya, the ground consciousness. Padmasambhava teaches three instructions for working with the confusion of the Pardo of dream. They are the trainings in illusory body, dream yoga, and luminosity yoga. So illusory body practice works with the appearances of daytime, and dream yoga with the appearances arising at the nighttime, night, like in our dreams. And the luminosity yoga, works with the state of deep sleep. So all of these practices are working with the recognition of the true nature of mind. Emptiness and practice of deity yoga, yadam in Tibet, yadam deity yoga, like practice Padmasambhava, practice Bhajaklaya, practice Buddha Shakyamuni, deity yoga. And visualizations of the three channels, etc. All of these are related to, again, tantric teachings. So in the process of falling asleep, according to Buddhism, we're talking about dream, right? The illusory Pardo of dream. So after the dissolution of the senses, we move into a dream state where another set of appearances arise due to our habitual tendencies. So as long as we do not recognize that we are dreaming when these appearances arise, we take all of our experiences to be just as real and solid as in our work, waking experience, right? That's true, right? So for instance, in your dream, you got like millions of dollars and you are so happy because you think this is real. And then you wake up, nothing there. Usually, like they give you an example, like a mother, loving mother who lost her child and like died in the dream, and then she's crying. And you wake up, your pillow like wet. You really believe it. And then wake up, nothing. The child never born, never died. It's just your dream. So you just, it's your illusion, right? It's just, you just believe it. You believe it. All this experience, appearances, when they arise, you think it's just real. It's real. You think it exists. That's the problem. Then you have attachment. That's the problem. We just don't recognize that we are dreaming, right? So if you recognize, that's dream, nothing. It means nothing. But when we think something is real, and then we develop attachment, fear, anger, all of that. So for ordinary beings, our dreams are continuation of our confusion. Confusion. Now we can see that. We think right now, this life is real. It's not dream. But when we go to sleep and we have dream, you think, this is dream. It's not exist. It's not real. We understand that, right? From Buddha's point of view, this is a dream. Your life is a dream. Nothing exists. You think everything is permanent. But Buddha's point of view, they understand. They have the realization of true nature. And from that point of view, the realization point of view, this is another dream. But we are just confused, We think this is real. That's why we have problems, right? Isn't that true? Definitely, for example, in a dream, when you see a beautiful object, we desire it. And when we see a a poisonous snake, we just naturally react with a fear. But once dreams are recognized as a dreams, then they can become antidotes for confusion, and then we don't have these emotions. So we need to investigate when we have dreams. So the thing is, do we recognize that it is a dream? If we recognize our dreams, then when this Pardo appears to us, we will recognize the appearance of Pardo and attain liberation there. But if we don't recognize our dreams, then we will not recognize same thing, the experience of Pardo. That's the thing. We're going to suffer from not knowing the true nature. So, Tibetan people always ask teachers, they ask teachers, they say, can you tell me my future life? And then teachers always ask them, like, do you recognize when you have a dream as a dream? They say no. Okay, then your future life is like that. You don't recognize your future life. You're going to suffer from this confusion. So, teachers say that we should try to recognize our dreams as the illusions that are there and don't attach to them. We are attached to our dreams. Sometimes you have beautiful dreams, you think something, this is something. Nothing. Okay? I will tell you that. Nothing. Means nothing. Okay? If you have bad dreams and then unfortunately you had that day, like you had a problem, something like car accident. Oh, because I have had a bad dream last night. That's what. No. So good dream, not good dream means nothing. Don't attach to them. Don't afraid of them. Okay, just let it go as a dream, illusion. It means it tells you you are still confused, like with your life. That's the thing, That's actually a very good sign. It tells you that, hey, wake up. You are believing unreal things. You are thinking real. So that's why I think this Pardo, the dream Pardo is. It tells you how much your capacity with your practice. Okay, so there is nothing different between dream and appearance of Pardos. So if you recognize, what I'm saying is, if you recognize when you have dream as a dream, then you will recognize Pardos appearance, no problem. If you don't recognize your dream, you will not, understand the appearance of Bardo, this experience. So what we are experiencing now in an illusion, like a dream, we are in a dream right now. Of course, we usually think that a dream is something not true when compared with being awake. But as I said, for Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, great masters, dreams and the perceptions while awake are the same. They're both unreal, equally unreal. That's why, from the Inlantian point of view, our experience of this life is definitely not the awakened state. So it's like a dream. It's like a dream. So, my root teacher, Kanchen Jimmy Pento, always told us about his manifestation of luminosity. In Tibetan we call it like wasal. When they go to sleep, they're not like us. They're going to sleep. Looks like they're going to sleep, but they are in this manifestation of luminosity. And during his sleep, he was always in a luminous vessel in Tibet. In English, this luminous is not, I don't know, but in vessel is very beautiful Tibetan words. When practitioners, the great practitioners, when they sleep in a nature mind, another way to express, like the vessel means like it's beautiful, it's luminous, it's like there's no confusion, actually it means. So luminous. So Kanchen Jimmy was always when, like when you sleep, he's always like luminous state. So which is he experienced luminosity. So he always always tell us last night when I was luminosity state, I hear teachings from this and that. I had visions of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. He teaches like that. So in the Pardo of dream, the main methods taught to realize the nature of mind is Padmasambhava's instruction that before going to sleep, you should generate bodhicitta, and after establishing your motivation, then you visualize an enlightened being. Like Padmasambhava, Bodhisattva, or whoever sitting above your head or sitting your heart center. You visualize that, and then you focus your thoughts one-pointedly on that visualization. No distraction. When you go to sleep, go to bed, and then sometimes you're thinking all the time. Then you can't sleep, right? Can't sleep. But when you do this, rose bodhicitta mind, and then visualize whatever, your head or your heart center, visualize, just to focus on that. Then sometimes you can say grant me blessing so that I can recognize dream is a dream, illusion is an illusion, and see the absolute nature of mind. You say something like that if you want. And then just, that's very simple. And it's important at this time not to become distracted by thoughts about, tomorrow's schedule or, your life like that. Just try to let it go. Tomorrow is not there. You never know. So whether not, better not think about it. Just focus on this present moment. Because, being distracted by thoughts is the main obstacle to successfully recognizing your dream. And then, as you fall asleep with the strong motivation and with this practice, when a dream arises, you will become sort of, aware that you are dreaming, through that practice. And then you have a chance to recognize your dream. So the root text by Karmalangba's practice for this Pardo says, at this time, when the Pardo of Dharma, Pardo of dream appears to you, abandon See, the last time abandon laziness, right? This time abandon the distractedness of the what is it? Delusion. Yeah, the delusion is sleep. That's obstacle. And then he says, enter into the nature of mindfulness and non-wandering. Recognize in dreams practice transformation and luminosity. So you can say, right? You can say this prayer, this teaching, this text, then rest your mind its nature. So this Pardo, Chimadagla, Malam Pardo, Chardinder, the Mukrornir Permit Pangshi Tamba Yamin Ilungalan Jaws, the Mukrornir. Abandon ignorance. Like, don't sleep like animals sleep. When animals sleep, they have nothing, right? No visualizations, no practice, just, maybe, I don't know, but they don't have this like recognition of true nature. So abandon distractedness and then try to recognize your true nature mind. Combined, I must not simply slumber like an animal, but combine sleep with realization. That's it. Nit is sleeping, sleep. Dipa with realization, with luminosity, combined, like unit. This is crucial. Okay, so that's during this Bardo's practice. It's easy for great practitioners who recognize their nature mind, easy to practice. When you go to sleep, you have no visualizations, no prayers. You just stay with that nature. That's it. But for us, as I said, if you want to recognize your dream as a dream, you have to visualize first bodhicitta practice important, and then establish that. Then you visualize your heart center, Buddhas, bodhisattvas, and then just focus on that. If you can, try to sleep that. We'll see. Maybe you will get different experiences, or maybe you will you will recognize your dream as a dream. Like when you sleep and then you have dream. Okay, you kind of recognize I have a dream now. So that's 2 Bardos. Okay. Later. Now. Okay, let's meditate for a few minutes. And so recognize your mind. When you go to sleep, recognize your mind means like awareness, right? And when you have thoughts, negative thoughts, let go, letting. So this recognize your mind and letting go of your thoughts. So this is the exercise, okay? So we should do is like you breathe in, you breathe out, you breathe in, you breathe out. So this is usually very good. So when you breathe in, you recognize your mind. You breathe in. Just to maybe very short time, you pause for maybe second. You pause a second. You breathe in, pause a second. Recognize your mind, like awareness. This awareness, you see, right? Focus on that, on this awareness until you need ready to breathe out. Okay, so you're not focused on your breath, but focused on your awareness. But breathe when your breath. It helps sometimes, like when you breathe in, then pause, and then you breathe out, and don't breathe in right away. Pause, just to relax. Okay, just not to rush. We're very we breathe in right away, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Not like that. Just to relax. Don't just rush. Don't rush. Then no hurry. Just pause, and then awareness. So this awareness helps you what is going on in that moment. So this is another Pardo. When you breathe out, and then you pause. When you breathe in between, that's a Pardo. So this awareness will help you what is going on in this Pardo. Okay? Pardo means Pardo can be very long period time, can be very short period time. Means in between. So when you between, breathe in, breathe out, pause. Breathe in, pause. And when you're ready, slowly breathe out. Then pause to look at the awareness. Okay? And if you have thoughts, let go. Let go. And then relax. So that's your practice. Okay? So go back, forth, and recognize your awareness, your mind. If you have thoughts, let go again. So continue meditating on it. So this is very good. I mean, I create this, as I do sometimes, I meditate. This is not, I'm not learning from this somebody. It's but it's when I do sometimes it's very hard to let it go my thoughts. Then I just pause and then focus on my awareness rather than thinking about thoughts. This you hold the breath. This sometimes may help. I don't know you. So so maybe good this meditation because when we go to sleep, before we go to sleep, we're thinking too much, and then when we are very exhausted, then we sleep, right? And then we have lots of dreams because of the results of the thinking, thoughts. We have dreams, but when you have no thoughts, and then maybe great practitioners, they have no dreams at all, no dream. And good practitioners, not great, but good practitioners, they have dreams, but they have good dreams. Bad practitioners, we have sometimes good dreams, sometimes bad dreams, because this habit, right? Thoughts, negative thought. So anyway, so meditate for a few minutes on that, please. Oh, we have 5 minutes.